And we're back.
Hey.
All right.
I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. How you doing?
And I'm Slim and Sammy.
We still haven't got a cool nickname.
No, we don't. But it kind of works. Is that only Sam has a cool one?
Losers.
He's an army of one. It's okay.
All right. Today we're talking about disappointing games. Now, this is a little bit different than worst games we've ever played.
Right.
These are games that I went into it saying, it's going to be good.
It's going to be awesome.
And then it was not.
It's going to be the best game of all
For
time.
whatever reason. I actually think, on my list today, with the exception of maybe one, I think I will get zero disagreement from you guys. I'm going to make that call now. I really feel like you guys won't disagree because either you haven't played the game or you've played it and also have experienced that same crushing disappointment.
Okay. I'm calling at least one of that second kind.
I'm calling it 5 and say I was going to disagree with.
Yeah, you're probably going to disagree with at least one. You'd probably be indifferent about some of the others, but
All right.
we'll see.
We'll see. Now remember, we're not saying these games are horrible.
Nope,
Well, actually,
they're not good.
no, some of mine are horrible.
No, yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. They were something I was expecting, and they weren't that. And I really wanted to like them. I wanted to like them.
Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah. I'm there. It's possible that these are games that we actually enjoy, but not as much as we wanted to.
Oh, no, mine I don't enjoy at all, any of them.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there are some of mine that I do enjoy.
Okay.
They were just not all that in a bag of chips like I thought they were.
I would say the main reason that I don't enjoy a game as much as I think I'm going to is usually because of theme. I'll hear the theme and I'll be like, oh, it sounds so much fun, and then it's not. And sometimes it's because I either know the designer or the publisher, and I think, oh, they always do great games,
Right.
and then it's not.
Right.
All right, well, here we go.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10 is a game called Lock and Load: A Day of Heroes.
I have nothing to say because I don't think I've never played it. Have you?
I have not played that game.
Haven't played it?
I heard it's good.
Yeah, it is. Okay, this is the thing. I was looking into Mogadishu and looking at all the that's what the game's about is what is Black Hawk Down, that movie, that whole event of our forces in Mogadishu and trying to battle their way out and all of this stuff happening to them.
Sounds like it would make a good game.
Yeah, it was. But it's one of those. It's kind of like a ASL where you have the little chips and you move them. That makes up your company and that type of thing. And I liked ASLSK. Joe, our former co-host, was big into that, and he got me into it. And we played it while we were living together in the same town, not living together, but living in the same town. And so I enjoyed it and but the rules were just too much. And so I wanted to find something that wasn't as heavy as ASL or ASLSK. So I had heard and read the buzz about Lock and Load, A Day of Heroes, and the people that liked those kinds of games said that this isn't bad. This isn't as heavy as the other games.
Okay.
Liars. All of them.
Was it extremely heavy?
No, it's not extremely heavy.
It was just bad.
No, it wasn't bad even. I just couldn't get through the rules.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get through all of the rules, and I tried to teach myself how to play, and I just couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I couldn't even teach my son how. It's not that the rules were written bad. Maybe it's a little bit of my fault, but I just couldn't make myself do it.
Okay.
And it was disappointing because I was really into the game. I really liked the theme. With the setting, I just couldn't get myself to do it because it was just too much rules there.
A beast of a
Sorry.
game.
All right.
Sorry. That's my disappointment.
My number 10 is I know some people don't think it's fair to judge a designer based on their first game. You know, the first game is awesome right out the gate.
Right.
And then their successive games, sometimes they're not.
I know where this is going, I think. Go ahead.
Well, I really like Dominion. Did you know this? All right.
As soon as he said that, I was like, here we go.
Look. The thing is, people said you can't judge Kingdom Builder, and what was the next game? The
Nefarious.
Nefarious.
Ah.
Okay, I'm going to use Kingdom Builder, but you can include Nefarious on this list too. Okay? The thing is it fair to judge those based on Dominion? And probably not. But I went into it. I said, this is the guy who designed Dominion. And when I first saw Kingdom Builder, I said, oh, look at these boards. They fit together in different ways. And oh, there's going to be lots of cool combinations. And I get a hand of one card. And what? What? I get to put out a house, and this is like an abstract game. And it was really disappointing. Nefarious was just as bad because it was like, ooh, a mad scientist game designed by the guy the Dominion. And it plays like an economic, boring snooze fest. I mean, I don't think Kingdom Builder is bad. I think it's boring.
Yeah.
I think Nefarious is bad. The problem is for both those games, I had my hopes pumped up. I was like, Dominion, Dominion, Dominion. And it was. Now, I know a lot of people like Kingdom Builder.
Right.
But I was disappointed.
Yeah, well, if you like Kingdom Builder, you're weird. Because Kingdom Builder is a horrible game. It was number 11 on my list.
Oh, okay. Good. What's your number 10?
Alright. My number 10 is A Touch of Evil. This is a game from Flying Frog. I played there last night on Earth Game, the zombie one. And that's a cool game. It had a good flavor to it. There was some text, but it was a quick game. You got into it. The theme, overtook you very quickly.
Yep.
And then they announced the other game, the follow-up, which is what A Touch of Evil was. And the theme sounded even cooler because it was old-style monsters, and it was like, oh, this is great. It's like an old monster movie meets Last Night on Earth. But the game was so text-heavy, and it just dragged on, and it was just didn't look as nice as the first one. It was very washed out. And the turns you had to drag yourself through a turn, and all the text on the cards really slowed it down. So for me, that was a big disappointment. I was really looking forward to that one because it sounded like it was going to be amazing, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that's my number 10, A Touch of Evil.
Yeah, I never got into Touch of Evil, and I guess I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah.
With that report, because I really like Last Night on Earth as well, but I never made that extra step.
Right.
All right.
Number 9.
Nowadays, when I play a Stefan Feld game, I go into it with no expectations. I don't. I mean, I go into it thinking, okay, it's going to be a game of blah, getting victory points. Okay? I'm not saying he's a bad designer. I'm saying his themes are boring. But he's a good designer. But the first game of his I think that I've played, or at least the first one that disappointed me, was in the old Alea series that had Puerto Rico and Prince of Florence, and it was Rum and Pirates. And it sounded exciting. I was like, oh, Rum and Pirates. Sounds fun, sounds cool. And when you open a box, there's all these little pirates in it.
Right.
You're like, whoa! And you do those pirates? You stack them in rows between spots on the board and collect chips and get victory points. And I was so disappointed. I was expecting, at that point in time, there were so few good pirate games. There still is only a few. But there was like none back then.
Well,
and I was like, oh, a pirate game!
I haven't played it myself, but when like a large part of your game mechanisms involve where the pirates are going to sleep that night, it's not a good hint. They're pirates. Why are we fighting over like bunk? It's like, oh, hey, buddy, get your own sweater. No, come on.
Get your own pillow, Boyle.
Come on. It's pirates. Arr!
So my number 9, Rum and Pirates.
All right. Okay, my number 9, I like abstracts, and there's a few abstracts I really like, especially the ones in the GIF series of games. That's GIPF. Like Yinch, it's a great game. Czar, it's a great game. And I hadn't played the one that the series is named after. And I finally did play it.
Oh, the original one.
The
GIF.
original, GIF. And it was a pretty big disappointment compared to the ones that came later. It was simplistic. It felt hard to control. It just did not work for me. The idea is you have to put the piece on the outside of the board and then push in. And that's so hard to control and visualize, and in a game like Yinch, I felt like I was setting someone up. In this game, I never feel that. I'm never able to go, ha-ha, you messed up. I'm just pushing pieces in and hoping that I get a line and something good happens. So that was a pretty big disappointment for
Yeah,
me.
I still haven't played that one. That's the one I think in the series I haven't played.
Right. I haven't played them all either. I haven't played that Punked or whatever that one is.
I still don't know how he comes up with the names.
Yeah, no, I heard that one wasn't so good, but I figured the one the series is named after would be a good game, and I didn't like it. That's a disappointment for me.
All right, so GIF.
I don't care.
You're not an abstract guy, Sam.
All right,
Cares.
what's your number 9?
All right, my number 9. Let me get my little piece of paper out here. My number 9 is a game that I've talked about before on my overrated games list.
If it's cosmic, we're gonna flip.
No, it is not.
Oh, okay.
Cosmic Encounter. I'm not. No. This game, I actually got one of the rules wrong during the overrated game.
Oh, I know what the game is
That's
now.
fine. I got one of the rules
Jumped on you
wrong.
for this, right?
That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, they were jumping down my throat. That's fine. Deserved. Move on. However, I was pumped to get Zombicide. I was really pumped. I had a lot of good reviews online. A lot of people were really building it up as a really cool, solid game. And so when this guy was getting rid of his copy, I said, "Hey, I'll take it. I'll take a look at it, see it is." And it just had happened that I had introduced Last Night on Earth to my wife about a week and a half before. So I was gonna try to ride that train a little bit.
Sounds like you're going to start your own series, horror games for 2.
Yeah, no. So I took it home, read through the rules, went through the little solo scenario, and there was no game there that hadn't done anything else that any other zombie game had already done.
Right.
All it was the miniatures. Had great miniatures, awesome miniatures, but there was no game there. It was just blah.
I do wonder about that. I think that's a fair assessment of Zombicide and the fact that it really is a tremendous production. No complaints, really.
Right.
But the game itself, what did it do that Last Night on Earth didn't do?
Nothing.
Well, it's a fair assessment.
Well, it has a horde of zombies as opposed to Last Night on Earth has a few.
Well, I guess so. But I mean, the few zombies in Last Night on Earth represent a horde.
I'd like to point
I
out
think.
how many different ways can you do a zombie game?
Well, I understand that, but
Run,
Last
Fight, or
Night
Die
on
is a
Earth-
good one.
Last Night on Earth, good.
All right.
Zombicide,
Not so good. Okay, we're done with 9.
yep.
No argument so far.
Number 8.
All right, my number 8 is a game that it's been around for quite a bit, and it was the hotness when it came out, and you spoke of it in whispers. It was so hot. Talking about Kalis.
I thought Kalis as soon as you said the hush because I remember when it came out, it was like,
Have you played Kalis yet? It was the game to play, and I remember finally playing Kalis. And what a huge disappointment, The game took forever. It was bone dry. There was nothing there. I felt like I was working, It was the epitome of a non-game. There was no fun to be had. I was making choices, yes, but there was no fun therein. And that just doesn't fly for me. So that was a big disappointment for me.
Uh-oh.
Kalis.
no, I mocked the theme in Kalis to some degree. And it is a heavy game and dry, but I don't think it's bad.
I'm not saying it's a bad game, and there's people
You just
who
did.
I'm not
said it was
making
a
my.
boring
I'm not
game.
making.
It was
the
a
point.
non-game.
A funless game.
It's a funless game. Yes. I'm not saying it's a bad design. I'm not saying people can't enjoy the game. I'm saying for me, it was a huge disappointment.
All right.
Because there was no fun there for me.
All right. What about you?
All right, mine.
Kalis.
Kalis means funless. All right, my number 8 is a game. Now, I was this close from becoming an English literature major in college. This close. Very glad that I didn't go down that road. But one of my favorite tales from English literature was Beowulf.
Ah.
And when Beowulf the Legend came out, I was pumped.
Wait, which Beowulf game are we
Beowulf
talking
the Legend is the Reiner Knizia
The
one.
little Reiner
with the
Knizia.
3/4 of a board.
about? The auction one.
Yeah.
The
that
3/4
one.
of a board.
How dare you take a fighting theme and make an auction game out of it?
You're
Why?
Beowulf's maids or so. You ride with him. You're
Why?
the horse or
the
the butt.
artwork on the box was
Yeah.
like, there's gonna be blood and axes and
And indeed, yes.
there's a lot of
I think the game is fun.
but it's not what it
Well, it
looks like
disappointed
it's
him because he
supposed to
went
be.
into the game thinking this is a Beowulf game. It's
Yes.
not. It's a.
Fair enough.
You are the
It's
guy
a
who
Knizia
carries
game.
Beowulfs like shields and stuff. You
But
know
I don't
what mean?
think you like the game either.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't.
so there's that too.
But it's that, it's the whole thing that it looks like it's going to be this awesome adventure-esque game, and it just is not.
The abstraction in that game is a little much. And I like abstract games when they're abstract. But you try to
horribly
sell me a game that's supposed to be thematic and I get an
my
abstract,
Lord.
I feel cheated. You know?
Okay.
I think that's what he's saying.
All right. So number 8 for you was
Beowulf, the Legend.
all right. My number 8 I disliked also because of the theme. Although I think the game matched the theme. I always like when games have a unique, cool theme. And the theme of 1969 was the theme of going to the moon. I thought it was great. It was a cool Euro game where you are hiring scientists, and sending things to the moon, and I was really pumped about it. I said, this is fun. Then we did the final scores, and everyone was 1 point away from each other. So we played it again, and the same thing happened. Not only did the same thing happen, but I played the exact same way. And I realized that the game had no diverging paths at all. It was like, I just went along for the ride. And that was fun once, but multiple times, not nearly as cool. Right. And I was so disappointed because it was such a cool theme. I want to have this game in my collection because that's a game I could say, hey, you want to play a game about going to the moon, the first country to go to the moon? That's a game I think people would want to play.
That's cool.
No legs.
But the game had no legs. So this didn't disappoint me while I was playing it the first time. It was subsequent playing. So 1969.
Number 7.
All right. My number 7 is an old classic, and this is not Kayla so.
Old Maid!
This is old.
Overrated!
It's a game I had not played for, I just hadn't gotten around to playing it. It's one of those games when people ask you, oh, you haven't played that? No, I should play. So I finally played Junta.
You mean the original Junta?
Junta, the original Junta. Yeah, not that Presidente one. That's the follow-up, right? The original, I think it's from the 70s.
Yeah, it's an old game, right. It might be from 80. 1980.
It was so bad. The game was so bad. That one's not. Oh, I was disappointed. No, that game is awful. There's no game. It was completely drawn out, arbitrary. It was about hanging out with people and drinking and laughing, and the game could have not even been there, and I would have had the same amount of fun. So yeah, I had a little fun because I was hanging out with buddies, but the game might as well have stayed in the box. It was awful. I don't know how that game survived as long as it did.
Every year I go to the conventions, I think the one company was selling like these old dilapidated box of Junta, and they'd be selling for like 80, 90, 100 bucks. And you'd be like, oh, come on, buy it. I don't know. So you're saying I made the wise choice.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Junta is a very long, very drawn out, goofy game. Not for me.
All right. My number 7, the dream team, is when you take two superb designers and put them together.
Stefan Feld, come on.
Colvini and Feld. Is there a combo between them?
I hope not.
There
That'd
will
be-
be in a couple years.
All right.
Maybe.
Anyhow, one of the best games ever, Ticket to Ride. Great game. One of your favorite games, Memoir 44.
Yeah, I know.
Alan Moon, Richard Borg. Put them together, and what do you get? A game called Warriors. Which sounds cool, and when I heard the concept, it was Risk with cards. A card game version of Risk.
Great.
Okay, well, I
Gotta
thought...
be good.
Well, no, I didn't think it got to be good, but I thought that if someone could make it good, it would be Richard Borg and Alan Moon. There's no game in the box.
Folly.
And then there's an expansion like Warriors Dragons. Worse.
Hordes? Is it Hordes?
Worse. Well, I forget what it is.
Yeah.
Most of you probably have never even heard of this game or seen this game.
Right.
I think it's because all the copies were burned in shame. No, I'm serious here. Look, this was a bad game. A really bad game. But it was because I went in saying, wow, two superb designers who are still both going very strong today and both making great games. And so it's not like this destroyed their career or anything. It was just like, what happened here?
Right.
It was just kind of a game that played itself. You rolled a couple dice and it was over. It was boring. It was, go look at the reviews of it. I am not alone in my thinking.
Maybe they just said, "Hey guys, make a game. We'll call you back in a couple days.
Yeah, I mean, there
Call
was.
back in a couple days. This is what we got. Good, we're going with it."
Yeah, I mean, they sold the game. You know,
Yeah.
it happens.
All right.
Like good actors making bad movies, they got to get paid too. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is, but I'm telling you, it is what it is and it's bad. So that's Warriors.
All right, we're on number 7.
Yep.
All right, my number 7 is a game that follows in the line of the Memoir 44, the Command and Colors, the Battle Cry, those, and when I can't remember who bought it, but somebody bought the rights of. It was the people that bought the Battle Lord. Is that FFG?
Yeah.
Yes.
They came out with
Oh.
another game first.
You're thinking
Oh,
of
Westros.
Before Battle Lord 2.0,
right.
they came out with another game called Battles of Westeros.
right.
Right. Really?
Now you thought it was gonna be cool.
I thought I was gonna just hit the ground running on that
Yeah,
game.
that game sounded cool.
I thought I was gonna love the game, and we played it at one of the first games we played when he came to Miami, and both of us we were just sitting there going, "Really?"
Well, I wasn't as disappointed as you were. I
man,
thought the
I
game was fine, but it just wasn't as good as the original
That
ones.
wrecked my day, man. I mean, we played that game and I was like, "Really? Come on!"
At night, you're tossing and turning. Your wife's like, "What's the problem?"
He's sitting at home.
Play the game.
So stupid. I mean, I was just like,
I made your favorite meal. I don't want it.
Stop playing away from me.
I don't know why. I wanted to like that game so much, and I should have, but I just didn't. It just missed on. I don't know. Battles of Westeros.
Do you need me to hold you?
No.
All right.
No.
That night he could have used a little.
No, not even then. Come on, man.
Moving on.
Number 6.
Now I'm finally talking about a game that you've both played, I think. Well, at least you've played it. Again, it's the theming. When I hear about a theme that sounds awesome, I get super excited, and when it's not that awesome, it's such a bummer. The idea of escaping from Alcatraz was so cool. And so Alcatraz Scapegoat from Z-Man Games came out last year. Did neither of you play it?
No.
Never mind then. It sounded so fun. A cooperative game. Let's break out of prison, except we will leave one guy behind to be the scapegoat, possibly. Which made me wonder a little, because that could be a problematic table flipping moment. Yay, we all won, except you. This table's too heavy to flip, sir. But
No, it's not.
if we all work together,
We can do it.
okay. But wow, did it sound cool. There was a lot of buzz. It came out and poof. Have you seen anybody playing
that
it?
game
It's
vanished.
gone. And I'm telling you, it was because people were excited and the game just doesn't play out the way you think it does. It just kind of moves some resources around and at the end, oh, you're the scapegoat? Okay. And that kind of bummed people out. It just wasn't as fun as it sounded. So my number 6, Alcatraz Scapegoat.
All
All
right.
right. My number 6 is a game that you will agree with me. You will not agree with me. I think I'm making that prediction.
Duel of
This
Ages?
is a game that has a lot of the things that I like in it. One of the main things I like in it is worker placement. The game looked a lot like the Manhattan Project.
What?
The game looked a lot like the
What?
Manhattan Project.
Boo.
But the game is
Boo.
called What's He Building in There?
That's a good game.
Oh my
Building in
word. Oh
Is
man.
it a game? Is he building a game?
Had a cool. No, he definitely wasn't building a game. He was building a torture device, apparently.
It's thematic. No.
I love the idea of the theme. You know, we're all crazy scientists, mad scientists, building a contraption to
Right.
destroy the world and then escape. And that's great.
It's a nefarious thing.
Awesome.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And
Really? You're going to say this is the same as Nefarious?
No, I'm saying it's the same theme.
Okay.
Same idea. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. And then it turned out to be, okay, I want to do this. Game says, no. I want to do this. No. I want to do please, can I do no? And I
The game
was
is a harsh
following
taskmaster.
a script, and I hated it. And I wanted to like it so much. It looked beautiful. It had a great looking theme. Had a great idea.
Yeah.
Just didn't play out the way I wanted it to. So what's he building there? I don't care. I'm moving.
I think it's a good game.
That, by the way, is also how Sam plays solitaire games. Can I do this? No! I can't have any fun! No, it was scripted, but even worse than that, it didn't feel thematic. It felt like I was churning some
All right.
sludge.
Am I the only guy who likes this? I really liked it. All right.
Okay, my number 6. Don't kill me.
Ooh.
This is another one in that Kalis category. Ooh, Agricola. It's Agricola.
Yeah!
Agricola is a game from Uwe Rosenberg, who, before Agricola, I am pretty sure was a different guy. Because he designed things like, Bonanza and Bean Trader and Space Beans. You guys haven't heard that one, look it up.
You like Space Beans.
Yeah. And then he suddenly was abducted and started designing these crazy German mathematic games. But it was him. It was you. So I'm excited, and everybody's saying the game's amazing. So,
It is
all right,
amazing.
cool.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna
not.
play it. I like his stuff pre that game. And man, what a beast!
Yeah.
I mean, I've beaten this. This horse is dead, so I'm not gonna beat it. Some more. But it just didn't feel like his game.
No.
It didn't feel like a game from him, and I was disappointed by that. I felt tricked into playing a game, and like someone put his name on the box and tricked me. I felt that way. I was like, "Come on, man, this is not for me."
All
We
right.
played the mess out of Bonanza. We loved that game.
Loved that game.
We played Bonanza so much that I got tired of playing it, had to take a week break, and then we played it some more. We loved
Like his original, his little clever card games, Clunker
Yes.
is another one.
Yeah.
The guy,
No, Clunker's all bad game.
no,
I never
that's
played
a
that
cool
one. I don't know.
game.
No,
It's
it is not.
It's an interesting little card management game.
No.
He became someone else, and I felt duped. So Agricola, disappointed by it.
After you get through playing Agricola, it feels like you got to take a vacation.
All right. Now let me tell you this. I think Agricola is twice as good as Bonanza. Twice as good.
That's good because it's only 16 times as long.
Yeah, and it's
Only
like
twice.
100 times as big, and like negative 100 times as fun.
7 times as expensive.
All right, fine. We're done with the math lesson. Let's go on.
Number 5.
My number 5 is a game that was the second in a line of games in the Settlers of Catan. Well, maybe it was the third. Now that I think about it, because I think maybe Struggle for Rome was the first.
It's confusing. There was a
Catan
lot.
Geographies, but then there came Catan Geographies Germany. Loved it, great. Then they came out with this thing, and they started publishing that they were going to come out with this one called Settlers of America.
That's right.
From Trails to Rails, and I was like,
Rails.
wow.
Rails.
I was like, yes,
I'm
this is going to be
there.
awesome. It's going to be just like Germany, and it was the opposite of how cool Germany was.
It's basically a pickup and delivery game.
Exactly, and it's like, why did you follow up Germany with this pile of manure?
It's not that bad.
I didn't. Man, it was not even comparable. Not even close.
Well, I think it went in a different direction.
Yeah.
Catan.
South.
Catan Germany simplified the game,
Ways.
while Catan America took it in a different direction.
They
Yeah.
actually went
Well, if that's
west.
true, then don't play the Europe one.
No, I'm not gonna.
Don't play the newest Catan expansion either.
Okay, I won't then. But,
So-
oh my word, I was so disappointed because I was thinking, man, they're gonna have like the Statue of Liberty in there, and they're gonna have like
because Germany has the really cool,
really cool little
right.
thing. They're gonna have all these things in it, and they're not even close.
Yeah,
Instead, you got trains.
I
Yeah.
wasn't particularly looking forward to that game, so it's not like I was super disappointed, but
Right.
but it was I was disappointed.
I feel like I'm the cheese standing alone here. It's not okay.
You
Anyway,
are the cheese, that's for sure.
Alrighty, my number 5 is a game that just came out actually, or maybe it's about to hit really wide, and that's from the same company that did Castle Panic, and it's Dead Panic. It's a follow-up to Castle Panic. Castle Panic is a really great game. I really like it. It's a neat, quick, easy to explain, easy to understand co-op game. So, Dead Panic is announced. It's the same, similar idea anyway with zombies. I like zombies. I'm less of a zombie hater than Tom is.
Zombies.
But the game, what they wanted to put in the game, wants to take that little board that worked in Castle Panic and get rid of it. It's like they clung to an idea that they had originally, and the game design outgrew it. But they refused to give it up because it's a brand recognition thing. It looks like the old...
Wait, are you saying you don't like this one?
I don't like... No, it feels like a game that has been constrained by archaic ideas. That board should no longer be a part of that design because it doesn't make sense anymore. It made sense in the old game, and I feel like the designer was clinging on to an idea that at some point he should have realized, you know what, I started from this board layout, that can go now. I've now outgrown that. And so it doesn't work for me. The zombies are doing loop-de-loops around the cabin for some reason, and it's weird. It didn't work. So that was a disappointment for me. And I was really looking forward to this one, which is why it's so high up on the board. When I heard it was announced, I was like, Dead Panic, that sounds great. And it didn't work.
All right. Well, I liked it. I think I might like Castle Panic better.
Yeah.
But I like Dead Panic. All right. I think my disappointment in number 5 will be assuaged by all the games that are coming out with this theme in 2013, because we have RAR and we have the Rampage and all these there's a lot of cool Monsters Conquer the World type themes. Sam, you like that old one.
Yep.
Monsters Ravage America, Menace America. But there was a really bad one that came out, I think, last year or 2 years ago, and that was the Godzilla Kaiju World War game or whatever.
Kaiju Wars, I think it was.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the card game. The card game was okay. It was just a card game. I'm talking about the board game. You opened up the box, and you had Godzilla, and you had another monster, plastic miniatures, and you had all these things to fight them with. And come on, that's awesome. But it's like the rule set wasn't even put in the box. It didn't make any sense. Richard Berg designed the game. Wow. And Richard Berg, if you don't know him, he designs heavy war games for people who... Well, how am I not going to be insulting here?
Tell Sam in his ear, and then he'll say...
No. But people who like Richard Berg games are not...
Don't have too many friends.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not... No. Okay,
No, they don't necessarily hang out in the same gaming circles as me because they
Man. That's not it.
Oh,
Keep going.
in the world.
I'm not saying anything he said. What I'm saying is they like these really long, convoluted games.
Yes.
Richard Berg is convoluted.
Yeah.
When I played his Blackbeard pirate game, he had rules for scurvy and carrying lemons. It was like, what in the world? Why is all this in the game? So this was the same thing. It was like all these minuscule rules here. There were missing rules. It just...
All right.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
It was funny. Like, do you have enough lemons on board? I don't care. I'm here.
Roll for lemons. I just want to be able to roll for lemons.
No, you didn't roll for lemons, but I'm just saying his game had all these things, and you're like, I just want to go pirate. But anyhow, that's the way this game was. There was all these rules and rolling, and they're like, okay, now how does combat work? It was card combat with dice, and to this day, I'm still not entirely sure I did the combat right. I even wrote them. I was like, if these rules don't make any sense. It wasn't fun. It was cool looking stuff in a box, but right before they shrink wrapped it, they put a little vacuum cleaner in and sucked out all the fun. They're like, and then vacuum sealed it, and then put it in the shelf. So you open it up, and you hear the sucking sound as some of the fun in the room shoots out into that box to even it out.
This is the best imagery ever.
Wow.
Did you play this one, the Godzilla one?
Sound like Ross Perot.
I think it was Don Hodges who played it with me, and it was just
Okay.
like we were both excited, like, oh, making growling noises, and this doesn't mean anything. All right, can we play something else? So Godzilla.
Kaiju Wars.
Number 4.
My number 4 is a game that includes clans. and ninjas.
No, I thought he was gonna say clans.
And we're gonna
I know what this is.
infiltrate
Yeah.
this fortress and kill somebody.
Yeah, maybe I should have put
Steal
this on
some
my
stuff.
list. Yeah.
And it's got a beautiful board, and it's actually got really good artwork on the cards, and you have nice plastic figures for your ninjas, and it's so awesome looking.
Yeah.
And it's not. It just wasn't. Ninja, the Legend of the Scorpion Clan, is a myth.
I have to say, I'm always cautious about a game that has a subtitle.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Sometimes it's good.
Yeah,
so.
it's the game turned out to be Nuns on the Run. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's just...
I like Nuns on the
Oh,
Run.
man,
Yeah, but it shouldn't be, you know?
it's not the same thing. I mean, ninja nuns. You
Yeah,
know,
come on.
Come on. It just
Ninja Nuns. I'm claiming that for my next game idea. Ninja Nuns.
But I mean, it just
night.
wasn't. It just wasn't a ninja game. It was another game with a little ninja shellacking on it, and
I agree.
Sorry.
That was on my short list.
Yeah.
It would have been like 12.
It was not on my short list, but now that he mentioned it, it
mean,
reminded me, and it would be.
we all played it together.
Were you in that game
At
too?
the end of the
I think
game,
so.
we were all just going, really? Come
Yeah.
on.
No cool. No cool.
All right, fair enough. All right, my number 4 is a game I know you guys haven't played, but I was going to play it with you, although I played this before I met you. One of the best games ever designed from repost production involving guns is what?
Cash and gun.
Right, well, that narrows it down. But they've actually made 2 games. There's Cash and Guns and Cash and Guns Live. Okay, now Cash and Guns Live doesn't actually include the guns. Instead, you use your fingers, and everybody stands in a big area, and you hand cards out, and then people stop and point at each other. Sounds like it will work wonders. It's a flop. I don't know, maybe I just can't run the stupid game. I'm a good werewolf mod. I can run lots of games, but every time I tried this, and I tried it, and I tried it, and it flopped every time.
Really?
People are pointing guns. Wait, who has this card? What? It was so confusing.
Right.
Cash and guns. Everyone points their guns. We flip a card over. We're done. We deal with that round. This just did not work, and as you notice, it's not a big deal today. It wasn't like this took off in the world by storm.
Yeah, no,
At
not-
conventions, you do not see people playing Cash and Guns Live because it just didn't work, but it sounded like it would.
Sounded like a good idea. I mean,
Did you ever play it?
No, I remember reading the box and going, "This is brilliant."
Yeah.
Cash and guns, where you don't need the guns, you just stand around, and then like when you have a grenade, you open your arms and spin, and anybody you touch is like, you know, it had all these like,
Spit?
you spin.
Oh, I thought you said spit. I was like,
No, you're like, you spray your arms, and then you spin in a big circle, and anyone you touch, the grenade hits.
Wow.
It sounded like, you know, cool, but yeah.
No, I played it. It's like on the cusp of being cool. So anyway, Cash and Guns Live is my number 4.
All right, my number 4 is a game that, as soon as I heard of it, actually, I thought, Citadels 2.0. I love Citadels. It's one of my favorite games.
No, you're not going to hurt on my Fist of Dragonstones.
No. This came out, I bought it. Boom, sight on scene.
Masquerade?
Mad Zeppelin.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
Mad Zeppelin.
Isn't that the first game you and I ever played together?
Probably, I think so. We played it early on. What a bomb. This game was so random and bad, and the characters were all unbalanced.
Well, yeah, and you got a random
And the
character.
rules are sort of incomprehensible, and later I found out online that we were doing something completely different, and then I played again with the right rules, and it was still bad. Oh, what a bad game. And it looked great. It had great artwork. The theme was different. You were supposed to be on a Zeppelin throwing off stuff and trying to make the Zeppelin go where you... It just didn't work.
I know. One of the problems was you got rolls randomly.
You rolled randomly to see if the character you got randomly would activate.
Right.
Hello! Anyone else think that might be a bad idea, you know?
really?
And the characters were completely, wildly imbalanced, you know?
Yes.
It was...
This was problematic for me. Okay, I come from Korea to Miami. I say, hey guys, I'm coming. I'm Tom Vassell. I review lots of games. Hey guys, I could.
Who?
Who is that?
And so I said, I get all these new games, and we get to play these new games. And this is a new one from AEG called Mad Zeppelin.
Cool.
And they're like, oh, I said, like Citadels. But it wasn't. Almost ruined my reputation. Maybe it wasn't almost.
Almost.
Is that why I'm still getting garbage today?
No respect.
No respect. I'll tell you.
I give you props. That's a good choice.
Right, Mad Zeppelin number 4 for me.
Number 3.
I know that you guys will agree with me on this one. This game came in a big box, like Axis and Allies size, and it was about vampires, the true vampire.
See, it ain't so.
And when you opened the box,
Cool.
there was cool miniatures.
Really cool.
The cards had different numbers on, making you think that they actually did different things. I Am Vlad, which looks amazing when you set it up, and plays like a slog through a bog.
Maybe they tried to warn us with the title, I Am Vlad. And if we just change that VL out to B,
I am Vad?
I am bad.
Oh, okay.
They tried to warn us, I am bad, don't buy me.
Actually, I think it would have said, I Am Vlad. This is not your typical Dracula game, no fun included.
In the back, small print. Watch out.
It's funny because there's a copy at our Cool Stuff that they're selling for like $60 or something.
Right, that's right.
It's been there for a long
been there for a bit.
time.
I sold mine for $1 and I ripped that guy off.
He's gonna have to melt that plastic down to make that back. That game was ridiculously bad, and the only reason it didn't make my list is because I wasn't looking forward to it.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? It's not.
I
disappointing.
wondered about that, but I thought it looked really cool.
Right, but it didn't disappoint me because I looked at it and I was like,
Off the radar.
Z was cynical coming in.
what is that smell? I smell.
Failure.
No.
So my number 3, I Am Vlad.
All right, my number 3 is from a company that rarely misses. Days of Wonder.
Oh, I know the game!
And they knock it out of the park. I love their components. I love their games typically. And then Cargo Noir came out, and Cargo Noir was a dud.
Actually, I think they had one dud before that. Ticket to Ride Dice.
Well, I mean, that's not a full game, though. You know what I mean? It's like an itty bitty expansion. No big
Wasn't a
deal.
dud,
You could ignore
The
that.
blank.
The Cargo Noir was a regular big box game. It had really cool artwork. It was from a very good designer, Ludovic Maublanc.
Had a cool, the theme,
Had a
the
cool
mobster theme. Yeah. Oh,
Had these
yeah.
awesome little plastic ships. These chubby little the bits were great.
Yeah.
And the game was this fluffy bidding game. I mean, it could have fit in a box this big. What a huge disappointment that was.
Yeah.
And I loved their stuff. I remember setting that game up, getting ready to play, and I slowly going, deflating. Like, we play, and I was like, hey.
I want to see this keep going. What happens at the end?
Hey. And then you put me in the box with the game. Awful game. Cargo Noir. Very disappointing.
All right.
Okay. My number 3 is a game that I actually really enjoy. I still enjoy playing it. These guys have, mainly Tom has given it trouble because of one of the cards that's in the game, which can easily be fixed by simply
There's
taking-
only one game that I have a problem with
Card
one
out.
card. It was a Civil War game.
Yes, it is a Civil
All
War
right.
game. But it's an old game called Battle Cry that not recently, but a few years ago came out with the 150th Civil War Anniversary Edition. And
Because that makes me buy games when there's an anniversary of a war.
No, come on. Now give me now look. Had beautiful new box art cover. Had beautiful art on the outside. Completely revamped. You open the box and nothing had changed.
Oh, so you're saying the
Nothing at all.
I remember the original art for that game was pretty bad. It was just some old style picture.
Yeah, it
just looked boring. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I mean, it was a Command and Colors Memoir 44. That was the same system.
Sure.
It was actually the first game in the system, or was Command and Colors the first? I'm pretty sure.
No, that was the first one. First one.
Probably was the first one.
Yes.
And so it started the whole thing, and I loved that system. Loved it. And so I wanted a newer looking version to replace my old that I got from Tom.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, great. So I open it up and I'm like, this is all the same. It's like I'm opening up my box at home. There's nothing new in here. They just reboxed it. And you want to talk about deflating. Man, I remember standing at Origins in their whatever you call it. And I had it and I looked at it and I was going to buy it and I looked at it and it was just not the same. I mean, it was the same. And they wanted me to pay $50 for it. The same.
Well, I guess that was better than you actually buying it.
I didn't buy it because I was so disappointed.
No, I know, but I mean, it'd been worse if you bought it, opened it up, and found that out.
I know, I understand it, but I guess I'd done my homework, and I'd seen, but it was right there, and I could have had it, and man.
Speaking of this, if you reprint a game, fix it.
Yes!
Okay? Because Sam said that about Battlecry. But Battlecry is not the only culprit.
No.
They made their games the same, like Betrayal at House on the Hill, same components, or the casino game. What's one I like?
Vegas Showdown.
Vegas Showdown. Same. Then sometimes they make them worse, like Acquire. They made Acquire worse.
If you go through the trouble of giving us a new box, then it really feels like a bait and switch. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're printing the exact same thing, we have nothing to demand.
Right.
It was out of print and you reprinted the same old thing. Fine.
Right.
But you went through the trouble of making it look new. Why? You know what I mean? At that point, I'm like, okay, why? You thought it needed help? Then fix the game too. I agree with you.
This is a Dice Tower. We're calling out Hasbro. They're a small company. Yeah.
They are?
Well, no.
They're about to like a fist is about to come through the roof. I do stop.
Let's move on quickly.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2 is the favorite game of a co-host that you are familiar with.
Well, it can't be me because you like my favorite game.
It's not one of you. Eric Summer, Merchant of Venus.
Oh!
Hey, Eric.
You're the one that taught him this game!
Thanks. Merchant of Venus is a game I have heard plenty about. Not just from him, but largely from him. It was supposed to be the game, the space pick up and deliver game. And so I finally played it. And you're right, we actually played together with him. He taught it to us.
Dice Tower Con.
That's right. Check it out. I was disappointed. I was very, very disappointed. I expected something different. The game really shows its age for one thing, which is fine because it is old. But then, I don't want to play it. It feels old,
I don't necessarily agree with him, but I'm enjoying this.
The game is really long. You do the same one or two things for the entire time. It's very random. It just didn't work, Sometimes you get stuck in that loop where the dice just don't come up, and then you sit there. Which, it was acceptable 30 years ago. Not so good anymore. You know what I mean? And by the way, we played the original, not the new reworked FFG one, just in case anybody has a confusion about that.
All right.
Yeah, I felt that way.
No, we played the.
No, you played the old one because that's the one he likes.
I'm pretty sure we played the
He likes the classic one. Well, no, you still use the Fantasy Flight one.
Oh, you
It has
use
two.
the
There's two
standard
games.
rules.
It's standard rules.
That's right. That's what I mean.
Okay,
That's what I mean.
Because I knew we had the new game.
Yes, we did. But we played
it's
the
a gorgeous
original
looking
rules,
game.
The original rules. And I was just very disappointed by that. So my number 2, sadly, and that's why it's sad, and why it's number 2, because I really wanted to like it. Merchant of Venus.
Your turn.
All right, my number 2.
Merchants of Venus.
My number 2 is a game that I was really looking forward to playing because I loved its predecessor so much. I loved Duel in the Dark. Loved Duel in the Dark. Absolutely loved it. And so when another game came out that was from the same group of people and was pretty much using the same kind of
Oh, it looked cooler.
Yeah.
Looked cooler.
tanks.
Right.
Tanks against tanks, and this is awesome. Duel of Giants. The problem with this game, though, is it came with an absolutely incomprehensible rulebook.
Yeah, I don't know that it's possible to play the game from the
You
rulebook.
cannot play this game. I poured over the rulebook multiple times trying to understand this game. I said, Tom, I can't do this. Please help me.
And I had it for months.
He had it for months. He tried pouring over it. He called the
No,
designer.
I talked to the publishers, not the designers, the
Oh.
publishers.
And we still don't know how to play this game.
Yeah, but you know that was back when Z-Man was making 200 games in like a
Right.
day, and so it was out and it was gone. And like, do you guys have any like support? They're like, did we publish that? Yes, last month.
Yeah, that game,
That game was here and gone.
it really was.
Oh,
yeah.
I wanted to like that game. I wanted to play that game. And I never got to because your stupid rules didn't make sense.
All right,
Man.
alrighty, to the number ones.
And finally, number 1.
All right. My number one.
Pandemic.
Should
Pandemic.
My
Pandemic.
number one should really not be a difficult one to decide. Everybody knows what my favorite game is.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I should have thought of that right away.
Everyone knows what my favorite game is.
Is it?
Don't say something stupid.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Eclipse?
Yes, that's my number one.
That's not his favorite game.
Most
No, I know what-
disappointing game.
Yeah.
That's my number one most disappointing game. It is not my most favorite game. I need to make that clarification. My favorite game is TI3, Twilight Imperium 3rd
Right.
Edition. So, when I hear a game coming down the pipe that's being touted as TI3 Lite, and I'm like, ooh. And I'm like, let's play this game. Exactly. I don't have to spend. Now, I love spending 6 hours playing Twilight Imperium 3, don't get me wrong. But I don't have to spend that much time playing a game that's very similar to Twilight Imperium 3. And then we play Eclipse, and it is nothing like Twilight Imperium 3. Nothing at all.
Don't be scared of this scary game.
Oh, I wanted to punch somebody in the throat twice after playing this game.
Wait, I didn't actually bring this one. That when he played it, it was you. No, it was
completely-
Don.
Not me.
I completely was floored by depression after playing that game.
Wait, are we on number one or number two?
This is number one.
This is it. This is the big one.
Did you not do your number two?
I didn't do my number two. Well, I'm gonna do two then in a row.
Are you serious?
I'm sorry, guys.
Are you done letting out that hate?
All right,
Yes.
I'll do my number two. Then you do your number one. I'll go back to number one. So
all
it's
right,
okay.
let's do it.
Here's my number two.
Cleansed.
My number two is a game I played a long time ago. Way back in the days when Zombies, remember when Zombies came out from Twilight Creations? Nowadays, when Twilight Creation comes out with a game, I kind of look at them with skepticism.
I just kind of look away.
Okay, well, no, that's not. No, look, Twilight. They've made some good games, and Zombies isn't a horrible game. It's okay. But then they came out with a game. The name is The Haunting House. And I was really excited about The Haunting House because it sounded cool. They're like, you go in and the rooms are switching around and you got to use programmable actions to get through. I was like, oh, that's great.
Okay.
And so the way the game works is you put down some programmable actions and then one of your actions each turn is random.
Fun.
You're like, I'm going to go here, here, and then over here. Well, I didn't want to go there. And then the rooms switch. And you're like, what? It's a really, really bad game, but it sounded so cool. And yet, enough people liked it that they made second story and a third story. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I was really excited about the idea of moving in a place with rooms that moved around.
Right.
Like level 25 or level, whatever the game is called. Is it level 25? Does a good job of doing that now.
Room 25.
Room 25, yeah. I like that. That's what I thought the hunting house would be, and it wasn't. All right. That was my number two. Okay, on to your number one.
Okay, my number one is, I think, the only crossover we've had this entire list.
Trying to guess which one. Can't be I'm Vlad because you said you were disappointed. Let's guess.
I don't know.
Wait, whose list is it on?
It's on your list. I was
Kingdom Builder.
looking forward to this game.
Okay, what are you doing to say the thing?
Yeah, it's Kingdom Builder. Kingdom Builder is like through the desert. Without any of the minimal fun that is to be found there. Through the Desert's okay. Kingdom Builder is like the leftover parts that Reiner Knizia sort of went, no, let's get this off the table. And then Donald X. Farquharino was like, oh, catch that and take it. And then he made Kingdom Builder, and he put like 3 characters in it or whatever. Somebody's gonna be like, no, there's actually 12. How dare you? Whatever, they don't care. It doesn't matter because it's really, really boring. It's like, oh, make a line and you score. Yes! I made a line with my little houses. Look at that desert house. Scoring! I just pwned you. Look at that house. Oh, and now I'm gonna play one here in the green spot. Woo! We're having fun now. You score differently every game, but it really doesn't matter because it's all, oh, you make a triangle or something other. You know, it's really an annoying, stupid rule. That game won the game of the year. I don't know how. They must have been asleep while they played this game. That game is such a disappointment.
Maybe they said this is so good we could play it while we were sleeping.
That could be it. It's a family game. While the parents play, the kids sleep there, but they move pieces also.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, every game from Donald X. Farquharino, I don't know him. He's probably a really great guy. After Dominion, every game just isn't bringing it. I don't know what it is. It's like he took 6 years on Dominion, and then everything else was, and then that came out, and then suddenly it's like, oh wait, I got to do something else. Here's a game in 2 weeks, and here's another one in 3 weeks, and they're just not bringing it. So huge disappointment. My number one disappointment, Kingdom Builder.
All right. My number one. What's my favorite game? Cosmic Encounter.
Yes.
Also, great game designed by those same guys. Dune/Rex. Gear World, Borderlands. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Boring. I cannot believe Final Fantasy Republic. Hey, the microphone's working again. Anyway, anyhow, as I was saying, Gear World looks like a war game, but it's not.
Right.
Well, I mean, it is a war game, but you're like adding numbers together. There's no special powers in the game.
Yep.
It's just boring. It was such a disappointment because I was like, woo, the holy trinity of designers that make Cosmic, and Dune from the, it's like the movie thing. From the designers of Cosmic Encounter and Dune comes Borderlands. And they're like, woo, sounds exciting. And you can pull out the board, you're like,
Straight to DVD.
look. Yeah, really. So that's my number one, Gear World Borderlands. All right, well, that's that. Disappointments.
All around.
Someday, I think maybe we'll do a top 10 good surprises, games that we thought would be like, and then we played it and it was like, what? Because that way you guys won't think we're that negative.
Yeah, but I won't do that fangirl squeal that you just did.
Do it again.
For shame.
All right, fine. Anyway, this video has probably gone on long enough. Don't forget, if you want the audio version of this, you can go to dicetoweraudio.com. Upload the audio version if you just want to listen to this talking. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Sam Healy.
And you've been watching the Dice Tower.
That's not working.
Throw a can. No, don't.